So today on Making It in Manufacturing, I'm joined by Sarah Griffin, the event manager for CPHI Americas. Welcome to the podcast, Sarah.
Thanks, Tom. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, great. Thank you for your time. I know you've probably got a busy schedule trying to plan and get everything organised for next week. So we're not going to CPHI America, which is why we're obviously doing this remote, which is the first time on Making It Manufacturing we're actually having a remote interview style podcast. So I guess for anyone who's not attending the event, how would you describe what makes CPHI Americas unique within the pharma event space?
Well, to be perfectly honest, we are at a pivotal moment in the pharmaceutical industry. So, navigating that regulatory uncertainty, scaling advanced therapies, reimagining supply chains, integrating AI, all of those sorts of things. What we really try to do is bring together the whole ecosystem for solving those challenges, having people come together. We're an intimate event. If you've ever been to CPHI Europe, it's massive and giant, and that's not what you're going to get at CPHI Americas. We are where you can actually sit down and have a cup of coffee with somebody and figure out those challenges together. So that's one of the things that we really capitalize on is those networking opportunities and having real conversations with the partners that you're looking for.
I was in Frankfurt last year for Europe, and I must admit I spent half the time running around from room to room with cameras, trying to get from meetings to podcasts. But that is what made it fun, and everyone's in the same boat. So I like the sound of Americas in terms of being maybe a bit more slower and having that opportunity to really network and connect with people. One of the big themes this year, I know at CPHI Americas, is becoming more content first and focused around the CDMO ecosystem. What drove that shift?
To be honest, it was direct feedback from our CPHI Americas community. It's about what they wanted from the show. They're coming with increasingly complex questions, and they were wanting deeper engagement with thought leaders and problem-solving discussions about the constant changes that are happening in the market. CDMOs have evolved from tactical outsourcing to strategic partners in drug development, and they need a place to have those conversations and make those partnerships. So our goal has been creating a platform that reflects how pharmaceutical professionals are consuming information this year and facilitating those meaningful connections with potential partners and helping to drive their business solutions that they're facing right now.
Yeah, and what are some of the biggest changes that you've made for this year that people can expect that have been before?
Yeah, so we have 5 curated tracks this year with industry leading speakers. We've spent a lot of time curating our tracks with U.S. insights, R&D excellence in biologics, U.S. manufacturing excellence, supply chain, AI, of course, and emerging technologies, plus our market strategy. So we have our innovative hot seat discussion sessions that are interactive conversations with those experts. We have AI-powered networking and matchmaking tools so that they're getting the right connections with people. We've got purpose-built spaces for meaningful conversations. We've got one-on-one meeting locations. And really, truly, it's the integration of diverse stakeholders. We have pharma companies, CDMOs, technology providers, regulators, investors, even some people. The governor of Delaware is joining us this year.
Wow. Oh, nice. And you mentioned there the hot seat session. I know that's something new and a bit different. What are you hoping to get out of that in terms of that session, and what will it spark?
We really want people engaging directly with the industry experts. We want them to ask the hard questions. We're looking for authentic dialogue, real-time problem solving. Experts are able to share their nuanced perspectives, acknowledge the uncertainties, and discuss what works and what doesn't work. We really want our attendees to ask those specific questions and figure out what's relevant to their situation and actually come away with something that they can apply to what it is that they're doing. So immediate actions, and we're really trying to create a space for the candid conversations that don't really happen in formal presentation settings.
And how are you feeling about the event?
I think I'm to the top of the roller coaster. I'm really excited. I'm ready for I've traveled today actually. So I live in Colorado and obviously the show's in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So I'm heading there today and I'm to that point of let's go, let's see everything happen. Registration's looking great. We're really excited about the event and all the things that we have going on this year.
And since last year, what do you think has changed the most within the pharma service and CDMO landscape?
To be really clear, CDMOs have really shifted from just a service provider to strategic partners. It's their new kind of operational reality. More companies are adopting like asset-light approaches with CDMO partnerships, and that's their new go-to-market strategy. Advanced therapies are driving this shift. Their specialized capabilities are required. So they're making these partnerships inevitable, to be honest. There's also a shift in how both sides are approaching these partnerships. It's longer term, more transparent, and they're sharing the risk. We've had a lot of struggles with the market recently with just kind of uncertainty. So the conversation shifted from can you make it to what are your capabilities, what's your quality, and what's the partnership look like with you? So that's really what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, I think we're seeing the exact same within the space. You know, CEOs are telling us that it's very much more partnership driven and transparent, and the communication of issues and problems and really working together to solve issues. And I think it is changing massively the mindset around it is a strategic alliance now and not just an outsourced sort of provider. And I think it's great to see. And I think the amount of CDMOs that are growing, expanding, and you know the amount that are attending CPHI, you know, in Europe and Americas, I think it's a great telling sign for the market and particularly that space. I know we continue to hear a lot about supply chain resilience and sort of outsourcing. How are those pressures influencing the conversations at the event and what you're bringing this year?
Yeah, so what we're seeing is that they are creating kind of a tension because there's resilience that suggests diversification, but then there's also consolidation, which is suggesting fewer but more strategic partners. So the companies coming to CPHI Americas are asking, how do we balance these competing imperatives? And what's happening is you're getting more sophisticated, consolidating in some areas, diversifying in others, using technology to manage that complexity. Resilience isn't just backing up suppliers, it's the visibility, the predictive capabilities, and how agile are they? Can they respond to what's happening and the changes? So attendees are learning from companies that are navigating this successfully and identifying those partners who can support sophisticated approaches, which is really where our content focus sits. So they can see what each of the companies that is there on stage, what they have available, and then they can go talk to them in the booth.
Yeah, and there's an increasing demand as well, I think, on integrated pharma services rather than sort of standalone capabilities. And are you seeing the pharma companies rethink what they want from from outsourcing partners? And is that come across maybe in some of things you're hearing around the event?
Definitely. They're seeking integrated services across the development and manufacturing continuum. Companies want partners who can take molecules from early development all the way through commercial production. And honestly, speed to market is increasingly critical. There's a lot of competition out there. For CDMOs, opportunity to build deeper, more strategic relationships requires significant investment in capabilities and organizational integration. CPHI Americas is facilitating those conversations about what successful integration actually looks like. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes out of the event this year and listening to those conversations and kind of using those things to continue to grow the event and make it more specialized for this group.
The CDMO market is getting incredibly competitive globally. What do you think separates the companies that are succeeding from those struggling to differentiate?
I'd say the differentiators are probably specialized expertise. They need complex modalities, biologics, cell and gene therapies, high potent APIs, things like that. Technology and innovation is really one of those differentiators. Their quality, reliability. So can you actually rely on those relationships with them, and do they have the regulatory relationships? Especially here in the US, our regulations get so, I mean, one day it's one thing and one day it's something else. So we're trying to navigate that sort of shifts on a daily basis here. And that partnership approach, anybody who is transparent, they're proactive, they're flexible, and they're invested in their partner's success, they're going to succeed at that point together. They have to have integration and like a breadth of services. So end-to-end solutions are definitely becoming more important for these companies to find a partner that they want to work with. And honestly, financial stability. Pharmaceutical companies need confidence in that long-term viability. They are really competing on cost or capabilities, and those without that are struggling.
Yeah, and looking ahead, what do you think will define the next phase of growth and competitiveness for CDMOs and pharma services globally?
Oh, I wish I had a crystal ball. But
Me too.
yeah, right. That'd be great, wouldn't it? But I would say definitely advanced therapies. Anybody who is embracing the digital transformation and AI, integrating those technologies for quality, efficiency, speed advantages, geographic strategy, to be honest, as more and more companies and countries are onshoring and trying to keep manufacturing internal is going to be important. So those strategic footprints, talent and organizational capabilities. So attracting and retaining that top talent is going to be critical. And really, I mean, going back to this, that partnership piece is going to be very, very important. We're moving beyond transactional. It's not just, hey, this is what I can do. It's how can we work together? How can we collaborate? How can we make this partnership work and grow together? So that's really why we have the event, is to make these conversations available and define what those partnerships are being formed as.
Yeah, I think without maybe it's intentional, but I guess without realizing it, I think it does massively help raise the standards of the industry, but by getting the level of people and the companies in the same building, it sparks them conversations and challenges. And I'm always a big believer that the more companies will collaborate, the greater good for patients, because everyone's going through the same challenges and certain people know how to overcome certain things. But I think that the big area of collaboration, I think, is a key thing, and definitely CPHI massively encourages that, which I think which is why it's a great success.
Yeah, it's an interesting balance of technology and human conversation, sort of a piece. It's like the companies that are able to walk that fine line are the ones that are going to succeed.
Yeah, and from a personal perspective, then, what are you most excited about when the doors open next week?
Oh, honestly, I love the energy. When the doors open and we have a room full of people working towards the same goal and getting innovative therapies to patients, that's just really why we do this. We have incredible speakers that are sharing insights that you're not going to see in most places. We have Bayer on building resilient supply chains. We have Callant on future of cell therapy. And then Molly Clote will be here breaking down the challenges, regulatory landscape and tariffs.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm really excited to see everybody in one place. This is my baby, so it's so cool to
Yeah.
watch it happen and hear what's happening in the market. And hearing those stories afterwards is also really cool. What are the partnerships that are formed? What problems got solved? What sort of insights were gained? So I'm looking forward to seeing all of those things.
Yeah. And is there a particular session, conversation, or speaker that you've sort of penciled down in your agenda before going, I want to listen to this one?
I'm definitely planning to see Molly Clote and Richard Pastor at the FDA
Mhm.
influx with the industry here, trying to figure out these new regulatory landscapes, the uncertainty that's affecting every strategic decision. How do you react to those sorts of things? So I'm really excited to see that. And then also we've got rethinking CDMO partnerships from transactions to strategy with Bernardo Epstein, and how pharma and CDMOs need to work together. We have some on resilient supply chains and also navigating risk. So into that AI thing. We also have a former Secret Service officer that will be speaking, so I'm looking forward to seeing that as
Yeah.
well.
No, nice, nice. And that I'm going to do a bit of a quick fire round, something I've not actually done on making it in manufacturing before, but I thought I would try and do some quick fire questions
Yeah.
just to wrap up. What's the biggest trend dominating pharma conversations right now?
I'd say advanced therapies and how to manufacture them at scale. Cell and gene therapies represent a fundamental shift, but manufacturing, regulatory, and economic challenges are still significant.
And what are pharma leaders most concerned about right now?
Regulatory uncertainty, particularly around the FDA's evolution.
Yeah.
Leaders making long-term strategic decisions need clarity, and we don't have that right now.
What makes CPHI Americas different from other events?
I'd say a combination of comprehensive scope and intimate engagement. We bring together the pharmaceutical ecosystem, but we structure it for substantial interactions rather than superficial networking. We bring people together.
Nice. And last question, what's one conversation you think the industry needs to have more openly?
Really truly what their challenges and failures are in implementing new technology. AI and automation is still really new, and we hear stories of all the successes and what it is that's happening, but we don't hear those what didn't work and where are you struggling. So I think the more honest conversations can get a bit messy, and if we talk about where we fail, it'll help everybody learn faster. So that's why we're really trying to create some of the formats that we are.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with the last answer. Well, it was a pleasure to meet. We're gutted we're not going to be there next week, but from what you've said, I feel that the event is going to go very smoothly. There's going to be lots of interesting, dynamic conversations, and I know everyone there will take something from the event. And we'll have a good time. Good luck. Enjoy the conference, and I look forward to catching up with you after to see how it went.
Perfect. Thanks, Tom. Take care.
Thanks a lot.